I'm Eric Smallwood, a seasonal museum specialist here at the National Scouting Museum. And this week, we're going to talk about the Bugling Merit Badge, the Troop Bugler leadership position, and take a look at some of the original bugles on display and in the collection at the National Scouting Museum. The Bugling Merit Badge was one of the original 57 merit badges introduced in the first official Boy Scouts of America handbook, published in 1911. The requirements for the 1911 Bugling Merit Badge were simple. Be able to sound properly on the bugle the customary United States Army calls. By 1916, however, the requirements had changed. Sound properly on the bugle the following calls. First call, the Scouts call, reveille, mess, to the colors, officers, drill, assembly, recall, fatigue, church, fire, swimming, retreat, call to quarters, and taps. The two calls added to the requirements were the Scouts call, an original call adopted by Baden-Powell from his time in the British Cavalry, and swimming call, which was a U.S. Navy bugle call. The requirements remained unchanged until 1945 when the Scouts call was removed. Are you curious what that Scouts call sounded like? Well, let's try it. Short and to the point. Like many short bugle calls, it is likely that the bugler would play this twice in succession, the first to get your attention and the second so that you could respond appropriately. 44 years later, in 1989, 5 new requirements were added to the Bugling Merit Badge. In addition to being able to play the required calls, now a scout has to give a brief history of the bugle, explain and demonstrate how a bugle works, explain how to take care for and clean the bugle, explain for when each of the calls were played and used, and serve as a troop bugler for 3 months. In 2004, the requirements were adjusted slightly and a new requirement, compose an original bugle call for your troop or patrol, was added. In June of 2010, the BSA announced the Bugling Merit Badge would be discontinued at the end of that year, with the bugling requirements being added as an option to the Music Merit Badge in 2011. Disagreement with this change was swift. In fact, while I was on staff at Camp Mountaineer in West Virginia, I signed a petition in opposition to this change. By August, the decision had been reversed and the Bugling Merit Badge lives on. In 2012, the Merit Badge saw a final tweak to the requirements, when in addition to composing an original bugle call, you now had to play the call that you composed for your unit or patrol. In addition to the requirements remaining fairly consistent over all these years, the Merit Badge patch has also remained virtually unchanged. In the 1970s, a green embroidered background was added, but other than that, it looks just like the original 1911 version. Of course, the authority for all things Merit Badge is the Merit Badge pamphlet, and interestingly, bugling has never had a pamphlet of its very own. It has always been combined with the Music Merit Badge. By the way, in 2019, 453 Scouts earned the Bugling Merit Badge, its lowest annual total since detailed records started to be kept in 2009. Since 1911, 172,503 Bugling Merit Badges have been earned. Since the Bugling Merit Badge now requires a Scout to serve as Troop Bugler for 3 months, let's talk about the Bugler as a leadership position in the Scouts BSA program. The Bugler position is an acceptable troop position of responsibility for star and life rank, but does not qualify for the rank of Eagle Scout. Scouts BSA Troop 39 of Chapel Hill, North Carolina's website has a page which lists the responsibilities and the standards a Scout must meet to successfully serve his unit. It is quite possible that the BSA is one of the few scouting organizations that recognizes service as a bugler with a position patch. Since the first position patch issued in 1923, there have been 16 different patches released for the bugler position. Did you know that bugling in the BSA has had an impact on pop culture? In the early years of scouting, there were many BSA drum and bugle corps. While most of these have been lost to history, 2 remain active today. The Racine Scout Drum and Bugle Corps was begun as an activity of Boy Scout Troop 15 of Racine's Lutheran Church of the Atonement in October 1927 by Scoutmaster Elof Erickson, who enlisted Earl Ray as drum instructor and William L. Peterson as bugle instructor and director. Initially, the Corps had no instruments. The drummers drummed on any surface available, and the buglers sang, hummed, or whistled to the music. By 1928, they had become a valid drum and bugle corps, marching in Racine's 4th of July parade for the first time. On October 5, 1929, the Corps traveled to Madison, Wisconsin for Boy Scout Day at the University of Wisconsin, where they led the parade preceding the football game between Wisconsin and Colgate at Camp Randall Stadium, where all Boy Scouts were admitted free with their valid membership card. In 1931, sponsorship of the Corps was transferred from Troop 15 to the Racine County Council of the Boy Scouts, and Corps membership now included Scouts from at least 14 different troops. During the 1930s, the Corps was designated as the official musical unit of Boy Scout National Region 7. In June and July of 1937, the Corps attended the National Scout Jamboree in Washington, D.C., where they performed a concert before more than 25,000 Boy Scouts, and then led a parade of Scouts to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington National Cemetery, where they performed another concert during a downpour. Over the years, the Racine Scouts have played at several national jamborees, including the 2010 Centennial Jamboree at Fort A.P. Hill, Virginia. Inspired by the Racine Scouts, a group of Madison businessmen decided that Madison should also have a Boy Scout drum corps, and they formed the Madison Scouts, which they affiliated as Troop 600 with the local Scout Council. They named Clarence H. Beebe as the Corps' first director, a position he would hold for 30 years until his death in 1968. In its early days, the Corps performed concerts and appeared in many local parades, and during World War II, the Corps participated in war bond rallies. The Corps was split in 1951, with the older members becoming the Madison Explorer Scouts and the youngers assigned to Madison Junior Scouts, a cadet feeder corps to the older unit. In 1954, the Explorer Scouts entered field competitions and, in their first national competition, finished second at the VFW Nationals in Philadelphia. In the early 1960s, the Corps switched from Explorer Scout uniforms to West Point-style cadet uniforms. Throughout most of its history, the Corps was an Explorer Troop, Post 600, of the Four Lakes Council. The Corps was eventually reassigned as Venturing Crew 600 of Glacier's Edge Council. In 2011, the Corps was reassigned as an Explorer Post. The National Scouting Museum is home to several original official BSA Bugles, either on display or stored in our collection vault. In the early years of the Boy Scouts of America, bugling was a huge part of Scouting. Enthusiasm for bugles and bugling increased through the 1910s and peaked in the 1920s and 30s. In the 1913 BSA Supply Division catalog, there were 2 trumpets advertised for sale, one in the key of G and one in B flat. These first BSA bugles were manufactured by the Rudolph Wurlitzer Company, who had already been making bugles for the U.S. Army. By the time the BSA was founded, specifically in the 1890s, the U.S. Army had changed the regulation patterns for bugles and trumpets from a larger horn in the key of C or G to a more slimline horn style in the key of B flat, with the ability to open the slide for the key of F. This model 1892 bugle has been the standard pattern for all U.S. Army and BSA bugles ever since. By the late 1920s, the BSA had 3 official manufacturing companies, Kahn, King, and Rexcraft. Kahn only manufactured official bugles for the BSA from 1926 to 1930. This example is an official BSA bugle made by Kahn during this time frame and is in the National Scouting Museum collection. This brass bugle once belonged to the Honorable Warren E. Burger, Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court. The mouthpiece with it is a trumpet mouthpiece made by Olds, size number 2, and the upper side of the horn is engraved with Vocatone W.T. Dreyer Brothers to designate the model and maker, as well as the bugler's name and troop info, Warren Burger, Troop 18, St. Paul. Based on the time frame Justice Burger would have been a scout, the bugle is from the 1920s. This Rexcraft bugle is from circa 1925, prior to the company being bought out by Buglecraft in 1933. Rexcraft was a brand owned by Rex International Products of Brooklyn, New York, and began manufacturing bugles for the BSA in 1919. Advertisements in Boy's Life from 1924 and 25 offer a special price on their bugles. In 1924, the BSA Supply Division held a competition to select a new official bugle. There were 2 winners, and in May of 1925 it was announced that every scout troop has at least 1 official bugler, and with popular emphasis being placed on the patrol system of troop administration, many troops have an official bugler for each patrol. The increasing importance of scout buglers, as well as the desirability of providing for uniformity of the primary accessories of a scout's equipment, has led to the adoption of a standard official bugle for the use of our membership. The official bugle is to be made available in 2 grades, regulation and professional, both instruments, however, possessing the principal essentials in common. Both have been selected and approved after careful expert examination and elimination tests and are announced to the scout field with the guarantee of the Boy Scouts of America and of their respective manufacturers. Their purchase is recommended as a safeguard against bugles frequently offered from sources and under conditions which may permit of no control over uniformity of quality, tone, and pitch, or possibility of repair or other necessary service. The arrangements made by the Boy Scouts of America permit the sale of these official bugles at prices very much lower than the same instruments or others of equal grade are sold through the customary retail channels. The catalog featuring 2 new official BSA bugles, the professional grade King's licensed official BSA bugle, and the regulation grade Rexcraft licensed official BSA bugle. Both the King and the Rexcraft official bugles have engraved inscriptions that combine the brand name and the official BSA bugle information. The King bugle was sold for $6 and the Rexcraft for $5. Did you notice anything special about the bugle I was playing last week in the BSA segments? It was made entirely of plastic. During World War II, brass shortages caused the U.S. military to adopt a bugle made of something else like plastics. The plastic used is called Tenite and was manufactured through the Tennessee Eastman Company, a subsidiary of Kodak. The plastic bugle then replaced the brass official BSA bugle for a short time and was the only bugle in the April 1944 Boys Life advertisements and the Christmas 1945 BSA catalog. The National Scouting Museum collection has 2 of these very special bugles. Our final bugles are Rexcraft chrome-plated bugles. The first, we believe, is from the mid-1950s, based on the first class rank icon stamped on top of the bugle. This icon was changed on official bugles shortly after to display the tenderfoot rank instead. The second of these, on display in the main gallery of the National Scouting Museum, appear to be much newer, possibly from the 1980s. This bugle features a chain to secure the mouthpiece to the bugle and 2 strap rings, as well as the tenderfoot rank etched on top of the bugle. We hope you have enjoyed our time examining bugling and the bugles of the National Scouting Museum. We look forward to seeing you next week with another Artifact of the Week from the National Scouting Museum, Philmont Scout Ranch.